Good morning guys, and welcome to another new project. This one is a restoration, if you like, of a model that's being built in the vintage style. Well, in fact it is a vintage model, very vintage, 1947. Now this model came to me at our last Winard's Perch meeting as a job lot of models, and this one no one wanted. It was going to be probably skipped, so I rescued her, and it is in fact something called a dream bogey, and here it is. It's it's got beautiful timer on the side. It's got a choice of tow hooks. You tow it up, the timer is connected via fishing line down to a defermalizer. Well, the timer is the defermalizer, but after a set period of time, the tail kicks up like that. The tail plane mounts here on rubber bands, and she floats down wherever it is. Now, I'm going to convert it to electric because there's nowhere around here I can fly anything like this. But look at under canvas section, absolutely amazing. It's very, very heavy in the nose. I would say probably from there forward is lead. So I've got to access that somehow and fit an electric motor. I'm going to put a motor in the nose, and I'm going to put obviously the battery as far forward as possible as well. I'll have to glue the fuselage, take off some of this equipment, glue the fuselage, well certainly take off this piece of piano wire, glue the fuselage shut. The other little innovation, by the way, they had a tiny little rudder as well, which would just kick over, also via a piece of fishing line, just to set up a curve. Fantastic shape to that fin, look at that, beautiful. And it's tissue covered, probably, let's have a look, 16th balsa sides with 3/32 doublers over the wing, and this really pointy cockpit, which gives it a bit of character. The tailplane is here, massive, I know, very light. Oh, I was just going to sort of throw it there, and I did end up throwing it. Very light structure, which I guess it has to be with all that lead in the nose. It's amazing it needs that much. I did look at outer zone to see where the central gravity was, but it is marked on here anyway. The central gravity is here. So I can't believe that this tailplane makes that much difference, but I mean, we'll find out, won't we? So this is held on with rubber bands. I'll have to, oh, that's that's a little underfin. The elevator has to go on the back. I'm thinking I don't want to chop into this lovely tissue, so I'm going to have to put something on the back. I could even make it out of something transparent so as not to spoil the line. We'll see if I can think of something. There's some repairs in the tissue, quite nicely done, so they can stay as standard. What does the wing look like, you ask? Well, it's right behind me in my stash of panels. Here's the wing. It is got a very slight dihedral on the angle you down slightly. It's got a very slight dihedral on the main panels, and then it kicks up at the end, so that's called polyhedral. There's some repairs in this, not particularly bad. But just look at that under camber. I mean, I've never seen such a big under camber on a model. Very light structure actually, but colossal wing area. That must be, yeah, look, that's 12-inch wing. It's a 12-inch wing. See how things were made in the old days. It would be, oh, we'll do it 12 inches, and I'll bet you anything you like this is 3 feet. 1, 2. All right, it's not, but never mind. So he's got this marvellous tissue covered under cambered wing. It's got a SAM sticker on this wing, Society of Antique Modelers, which is still going, that fly all this beautiful stuff, and the Cornish CVA sticker, which is the Cornish club you belong to. Again, banded on. This piece of, I think James, who built this, this was quite innovative. He used a piece of thin plastic to protect this, give it some strength against the rubber bands. So I'll leave that on, obviously I can't remove it, and it's there for a purpose. So there's the wing. Just needs a couple of very small repairs. So the challenge is fitting the radio equipment and motor. It's almost a shame because this is so beautifully engineered, but it can't. Whatever I do, it was going to be skipped. So let's just get it in the air. Here's a challenge: the rudder. I can't rely on that to steer it. I'm just going to lose it downwind. Tiny little rudder. So what can I do? I think the only thing I can do is to. There's a line here. Look, I could cut the rudder. I'd have to retissue it. Cut the rudder here, and make this area rudder, which would steer it. It's going to hinge really odd if I leave it at that angle, so I'd have to put another upright in. So I've got some tissue, I think the same colour as this, so I can repair it if I strip it off. So I think the first thing is to remove all the gubbins, which make it fly as a free flight model. And I won't glue this up yet because I might need to access it for push rods or something, so we'll see about that. Once I've removed the mechanical parts, I'm tempted to leave this because it's such a beautiful part of the original fitting. Can you hear the ticking? That would trigger then the controls. So the question is, what motor am I going to use to power it? And do you know what? I was thinking, if I can keep the weight down, I've got a tiny little motor here. It's bigger than the one I've got in my Spitfire. I'm not sure how many kVs, probably something like 3,500. But if I can put that in the nose, being quite small, it could go quite a long way forward. Although it's very narrow that way. I'm wondering if I remove the nose, let's angle you down a bit more, you can see the bench. If I remove the nose on the block line here, it might allow me to see what's going on inside. It would be a good idea to saw through here. I can see the join. Of course, I'd like to have a top hatch really, so as I could drop the battery in from the top. I wonder if I saw through there and knife down here, it'll allow me good access, and then I'll also be able to see what's going on. That's the bits out then. Let's have a look at the nose. Okay. If I think this motor can do the job, the only thing I can't put on this motor, I don't think, is a folding prop, which I'd like to have put on. But if it flies with this, it's going to have a very small prop anyway, 6 inch at most. It's got quite a big mounting. So I mean, that's to mount that motor on that thing, it's got to be back there. Hopefully the former goes grain that way. If it does, it will cut easily. If it doesn't, then let me keep going, guys. I'll be back in a minute as it's about to come off and we'll have a look at it. See what it looks like. Okay. So, that was good placement for that. I went just under the piece of balsa there for the side hatch. That was a bit of luck. So there's two formers here. Just get rid of that. Nice little compartment there. Start removing this lead, which is really well packed. I'm wondering if he's put any glue in with it. We'll find out, won't we? Well, that nose is coming off now, so I don't need to get those out. That feels so much lighter. In fact, that feels incredibly light. Now, I am intrigued. Let's weigh this lot, see what we got. That weighs 205 grams. Okay, nice. Nice and square. That's what we like to see. Look at that. I'll cut a firewall to mount the motor and make some holes in here, and that will be the motor installed. I just hope I don't have to add all that lead back. I'll cut the covering off this. There was a hole in it anyway, so I thought, well, I can recover it as I've got the same tissue. But I figure about that area would be okay for the rudder. So I've cut a spacer which is going to be the join on the rudder. Just going to angle that slightly. And I'm going to glue that in there, and then I can cut the rudder out. That would be a reasonable rudder from there. The line for the rudder is going to have to come out the top. So what I'm thinking is maybe a couple of tubes for the cotton to run in. Got my cotton I use, my heavyweight cotton, which would do the job. This stuff. It's unbreakable, but that could run from the servo right down the fuselage, because I'm really concerned about having to put lead in the nose. Tailplane over. So that goes under there, held on by bands. I think it's going to be best held on by bands full time, because I can't see it. It's going to get knocked. So I'm going to have an elevator on the back of this. On this, that goes there. Center line there. And that goes down to there. So we got a decent elevator on there now. Planning on giving it lots of down elevator. It's only for trimming really. The motor is now mounted, and I thought before I glue it in and it becomes inaccessible, let's test it. So I've just bound it to a Readimaster R86, and it works fine. Hopefully it'll be man enough. If it isn't, it'll be slope sawing. Nearly there. And we're there. Okay. So there's our rudder, an odd shape. I think it might be prudent to put a gusset in the bottom of here. So that will then work like that. So I've been busy, guys. I've hinged the rudder and just recovered them in tissue and given them a light coat of matte lacquer, and cut a horn as well for pull. So I mean that works fine. Whether it'll be an efficient turning device, I don't know. I've fitted up a closed loop system on the rudder, which is going to work something like this. Let me put that there and pull the controls. That goes like that. And then the elevator up and down. I had planned to put like a return spring or something on the bottom, but as you can see, there's nothing. It pulls itself down naturally. How is that, Cliff? Well, I've done a similar thing to what I did on the DH2 ailerons, and that is to put a torque rod in. So I've got a bit of 1/2 mil piano wire that goes into the elevator here. It goes to there, and then into the tailplane there. And because they're bent down at, well, that sort of angle a little bit more, but basically there, so the torque rod pulls it back down to that position. The servo holds it neutral and pulls it up. And I've put in 4 fishing line hinges, 1 mil. They work really well. Well, guys, to get the balance nearly right, I've managed to squeeze in a 3S 2200. My other 2S and 3S packs are only like 3 or 4 ounces, so I'm going to have to add lead. But I managed to squeeze it in, so I'm going to have to glue on that back onto that, and I'll have one big top hatch. I just hope this little motor can do something, so we'll see. Okay, guys, here's my rudder and elevator set up. So I've got elevator and rudder. That goes through little tubes all the way down to the back. Yeah. Right then, guys, so we're coming to the end of the Dream Bogey project, I think. There's the nose. I just can't fathom out a magnet, and it's not worth the effort, to be honest. So I've got a couple of locating lugs on the inside of the hatch just to keep it in place, and this little rubber band. I'll show you it all working. There's the installation. Closed loop on the rudder and elevator. Let's pop a battery in and fire it up. It nearly holds its weight. I'm well impressed with that. Wow. Goodness me. I've got one more job still to do, I've just noticed, and that is I want to put this SMAE sticker, just get it out carefully here. I want to put that back on the fin where I found it, and as soon as the weather permits, we'll put this little beauty up and see how she flies. If you're not subscribed, why not? Hit the subscribe button. It's free to subscribe, and it helps the channel grow and promote the algorithm to other modelers and non-modelers, etc. So, so subscribe if you're not. If you are subscribed while you're here, give the video a thumbs up. That also helps the algorithm. Anyway, let me stick this on, and I'll see you up the field. Hopefully a nice cumulus blue sky day. But at the moment we got 10 days of rain and wind forecast. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Cheers.